Hello everyone. Today we are at the plantation in Daleko at Mr. Mirosław Garlinski's, where we are presenting our JAGODA 300 harvester for picking American blueberries. The harvester is a tractor-mounted machine. The requirement for the tractor is about 80 horsepower. The harvester is adapted for harvesting during the first, second, and third pickings. The harvester features a wide range of hydraulic and technological solutions. The harvester uses very gentle 920 shaking heads, which were designed and patented by our engineers. This ensures that the fruit is harvested very delicately without being damaged, and the bushes are not harmed during the picking process. Additionally, this year the harvester is equipped with 2 extra sensors. One sensor is used to keep the harvester centered in the row. These are mounted at the front and rear and are connected. The second sensor is for automatically lifting the harvester when it comes into contact with the ridge or the soil, so as not to damage the conveyors or destroy the ridge. Additionally, at the front of the harvester, we have a display installed that shows the tractor operator the current position of the wheels on the machine. It displays whether they are turned to the left, to the right, or if the harvester is moving straight ahead. As for controlling the harvester, we have 2 options. The first is a control panel operated by one of the operators who supervises the blueberry harvest here. It allows for adjusting the speed of the heads, the speed of the conveyors, and the power of the fans that blow away impurities, as well as a joystick for positioning the platforms. They can be raised, lowered, moved closer together, or spread apart. There are 2 buttons for raising and lowering the entire harvester frame. If we have a very high mound or very tall bushes, we can raise it so that the blueberries don't fall from too great a height. And there is also wheel control, where we have turning the wheels to the left, turning the wheels to the right, and centering the wheels. So when you press this button, the wheels will automatically return to the center position. The second option for controlling the harvester's hydraulics is a wireless remote, which has a range of about 50 meters. It has the same functions as those on the control panel. So we have lifting and lowering the harvester, extending and retracting the rear platforms, lifting and lowering the rear platforms, and turning the wheels left and right. Here, to center the wheels, that is to set them to the straight position, you need to hold down both buttons at the same time, and the only function that is not on the control panel is the adjustment of the front drawbar. So you can also move it and shift it away from the row using the buttons on the remote control. As for the inside of the harvester, here, as I mentioned earlier, we have our 920 heads. Regarding the changes inside the harvester itself, we have now used new fingers made from a slightly different material. They are more flexible, yet at the same time harder and more resistant to loads. A very important addition that we have introduced are these bars here, which serve as sensors to guide the harvester onto the row. When one of these sensors bends, for example, when it hits a mound or a more overgrown bush, this causes the wheels to automatically turn so that the harvester moves away and the sensor returns to its position, and both work on the same principle. Another innovation in our harvester are the sensors used for leveling the machine. They are located here at the front on the conveyors. They allow the harvester to be raised automatically. When this sensor here starts to hit the ground or the ridge, it will cause the entire harvester to lift until the sensor's position is straightened, which prevents us from damaging the ridge and also protects the conveyors from damage. A new aspect in mechanical harvesting is the proper adaptation of the plantation. Among the most important factors that have a significant impact on a very good yield, there are several factors that contribute to an excellent harvest. First of all, the bottom of the plantation should be very narrow so that the collecting pods do not open too wide, because that is the main cause of losses. The right variety must also be selected. Varieties such as Duke, Sierra, or Raper, which ripen more or less at the same time and do not require multiple harvests. They are harvested 3 or 4 times at most. They are very well suited for mechanical harvesting. They also need to be firm varieties, because mechanical harvesting is not the same as hand picking, so the fall of the blueberry can cause some minor damage. That's why the variety must have the right cellular structure so that it is firm and does not get damaged. Another crucial and important aspect when it comes to the mechanical harvesting process is specifically adjusting the width of the mulch. the mulch cannot be too wide, therefore proper adjustment is essential. As for the height of the mulch itself, that doesn't really matter much, but if the mulch is very wide, let's say over 80 or 90 centimeters, that will also make mechanical harvesting more difficult, because with a low mulch, the harvester can catch on it and thus damage the mulch. Another thing is the spacing of the rows and headlands. When it comes to planting the rows for our harvester, it should be about 3 meters so that the tractor can easily pass between the rows. As for the headlands, it should be about 6 or 7 meters so that the harvester can turn smoothly. The harvester is equipped, as I mentioned before, with a steering axle, which allows us to turn around despite the entire set being about 13 meters long. And this lets us maneuver within about 6 or 7 meters so we can turn smoothly and enter the next row. As for the working speed of the harvester, depending on the variety and the amount of fruit, it ranges from about 0.6 kilometers per hour up to almost 2 kilometers per hour when there is very little fruit and the plantation is very well suited for it. So here, depending on the length of the rows and how well the plantation is adapted for turning, we assume that we can harvest even about 2 hectares within 8 hours. Currently, we are still actively working on developing effective solutions that will allow us to significantly reduce the internal damage to the delicate blueberries. One of the solutions we tested were brushes, but they did not work for us 100%. At the moment, we are testing 2 more solutions, which we cannot show yet because they are not ready, but they are intended to ensure that the blueberries will fall onto a very soft material and will not be damaged internally. Currently, we are continuously conducting demonstrations and tests, so if you are interested in seeing the harvester, we invite you to contact us. Our phone number and email address, where you can reach our company, should appear at the bottom here.